Men's bracket, where on the left of your screen, Mark Safe, winner of 2 World Series bracelets last year, takes on the grinder Mike Mizrachi.
This could be an interesting match. Both these players like to see a lot of flops.
Suited 8-4 for Mizrachi, who calls, and Safe with King 8 will check. And the flop comes. Ace, deuce, 7. What a flop as Mizrachi flops a flush.
Yes, and Mark has the king of hearts, which gives him the nut flush draw, the highest flush if another heart would come up.
Safe bets 400, and Mizrachi raises to 1,400.
He's aware that Safe could have a high heart in his hand. Safe calls.
Turns a king of diamonds.
Gives Safe a pair of kings along with his nut flush draw. He checks.
And Mizrachi bets 2,500.
Safe calls. He still needs a heart here.
The river brings a 3 of hearts and the nut flush for Mark Safe.
Safe quickly bets 4,000, and Grinder's got to figure out now if Safe has that big heart. He calls. He says, show it to me.
And with the nut flush, Mark Safe takes down the pot. It's a bad beat for Mike Mizrachi as Mark Safe takes a 3-1 chip lead. We move you back to our featured table now, where Jennifer Tilly is pitted against Paul Phillips. At the GQ Pairings Party presented by Nine, Tilly had some fighting words for her first round foe.
Paul Phillips. Hey, Paul, do you have a football jersey that says Jennifer Tilly?
I could by tomorrow.
He's shaking. He's trembling, boys and girls. Paul, I'm telling you for the record, I will slaughter you. You are going down.
I'm a lot more scared than you.
You know, I'd be shaking and trembling too.
First time I've seen Paul Phillips be speechless.
Phillips with suited 9-6.
Just going to call.
And via the Outback pocket cam, Tilly also with a suited hand, diamonds 8-4. She checks. And the flop comes with a couple diamonds, 5 queen queen.
Both players have flush draws. Looks like Jennifer's going to bet her flush draw 300. And Paul Phillips says, you're going to bet your flush draw. I got a higher flush draw. I'm going to raise you 600. 600 for Jennifer to call.
She calls the additional amount. Turns a 3 of hearts. Jennifer checks.
And Paul's thinking Jennifer might be trying to trap him here.
He checks as well. River's a deuce of clubs.
Neither player has made the flush. In fact, nobody's made anything here. Paul's 9 high is the best hand. Jennifer checks and looks like she's going to throw her hand away. Paul must feel he has to bet to win. He doesn't think 9 high is going to be any good.
So he bets 1,200.
Jennifer, who was going to throw her hand away a second ago, is having second thoughts.
Check raise up to 3,000.
Wow, you're check raising the river?
Wow, great play by Jennifer. Paul's either got to raise or throw his hand away, and he throws his hand away. Jennifer showed a lot of speed and a lot of heart on that hand.
Who check raises the river? It's understood we don't do that.
Oh, really? Does this mean I won't get invited over to your house anymore?
Great line by Jennifer. I love that line.
So with tension seemingly escalating at the featured table, we get our first look at a player considered by many to be the man to beat in this tournament. Phil Ivey won his 5th World Series of Poker bracelet in 2005, and along with that success has come considerable fame. Good looks and poker skills to match mean that Ivey has become one of the most recognizable faces in the game. Poker's cover boy has graced the front of virtually every poker magazine, and that fame hasn't detracted from his success on the table. Ivey remains one of the game's most feared players. Here Phil Ivey matches up against Chad Brown, whose poker career is really starting to take off. The part-time actor had a 3rd place finish at a WSOP circuit event in San Diego last year. For Brown, suited ace 6, and he raises to 1,200.
And Chad Brown can move the chips around. He knows to beat Phil Ivey, you have to gamble.
Ace-8 offsuit for Phil Ivey. He calls. Flop comes deuce-8 ace.
This is a terrible flop for Chad Brown. Phil Ivey's flop top 2 pair, and Chad Brown, who took the lead in his hand, raised before the flop, has got aces. And he's going to continue to play strong. Now look at the master at work.
Ivey very casually raises to 4,800.
And Chad Brown's problem in this hand is he's playing against Phil Ivey. I don't think he would ordinarily call this bet with ace-6 in this situation, but he's calling because he doesn't want to let Phil Ivey push him around.
The turn brings another ace.
Terrible card for Chad Brown. Chad Brown has made 3 aces, but Phil Ivey has a full house.
Ivey bets 6,000.
I'm all in.
Chad Brown's made up his mind. He's playing this hand. He's got 3 aces. He's going to get the bad news soon. Phil Ivey immediately calls.
Chad Brown drawing dead to a tie here.
I got 2 outs for the chop.
The percentages do not add up to 100 because there are 2 8s left in the deck, and one of those 8s would give them the same full house.
Whoa!
And one of the 8s shows up on the river. Chad Brown survives.
Welcome to my world.
The cards are breaking even.
Phil Ivey thought he'd won the match, but Chad Brown's still sitting down.
Gabe, what do you think about that?
I think you got real lucky, Chad. That's what I think.
Welcome back. Appropriately titled Heads Up, we tried to find the most fashionable player at the red carpet affair, the GQ Pairings Party presented by Nine.
We are here at NBC's National Heads Up Poker Championship Red Carpet Extravaganza. I'm Catherine Tappan, joined by the ever-sophisticated Oliver Najad.
That's very kind of you, Catherine. We've enlisted the help of a few of these players to get decked out. We're going to figure out who the best dressed is this year, isn't that right?
That's right, and for that we're going to introduce right here Brett Fahlgren, our GQ style correspondent. Thank you for joining us tonight on the red carpet.
Well, thank you for having us. We're very happy to be here. These are great dress shirts. They look great in Nine, and they actually have this fabric from Cool Max, which is very interesting, and it helps them stay cool under pressure.
Now, Brett, who do you think is the best dressed on the red carpet?
I would have to say you, Catherine.
Aw, thank you.
Crowd favorite every time.
Best dressed poker player, a little bit of an oxymoron, sort of like the thinnest sumo wrestler.
Mike Mizrachi, meanwhile, all in with 2 pair against Mark Safe with suited King-Jack.
Mark Safe needs a lot of help here.
Go!
And a Queen of Hearts comes on the turn. There's a little help.
Yes, Mark Safe would win with a heart. And Mike Mizrachi doesn't like it.
Took enough bad ones, no more.
Here comes that river card.
On the river, a 5 of hearts.
Mike Mizrachi has won the pot with a full house, but Mark Safe didn't realize what happened there. He saw the 5 of hearts, knew he made the flush, thought he had the best hand, and then it dawned. That happens to a lot of players. When you get the card you want, you somehow see past your opponent's hand. He thought he won the hand for a second.
Mark Safe had a chance to knock out Mike Mizrachi, but Mizrachi doubles up to stay alive. And back over at our featured table where Paul Phillips is taking on Jennifer Tilly. And this year, Paul already appears much more reserved than he was last year against Phil Hellmuth.
A10. I mean, of all the things to beg the poker gods for, A10, I would say, is pretty freaking low on the list.
I'm not!
Ooh.
Make it stop!
Stop it! Stop it! Just give me a 10!